Welcome to Imagine in America podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Jones of the National Civil Rights Museum. Today, we are joined to have Dr. Velma Lois Jones, a lifelong Memphian and educator who became the first classroom teacher turned president for the Memphis Education Association and Tennessee Education Association. She also became the first Black female to serve as the NAACP's president and is a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Dr. Jones, welcome to the National Civil Rights Museum.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Dr. Jones, you toured the museum on today. Talk a little bit about what the tour through the National Civil Rights Museum means to you.
I think I'd like to say it's, excuse me, I'd like to say it shouldn't be necessary, but it's a very necessary tool for every one of us to have an idea of where we have come from, how we got here, and where we're going. And just to see that life hasn't been easy, but we trailed through it. We've made it in spite of the obstacle, and we're traveling on. Every step is a little higher, and we get a little better. But I've got to say, it ain't over yet.
It ain't over yet.
But you can see all of this just by viewing what has been captured in this building. And I just, excuse me, I just hope more of us take advantage of seeing and viewing and learning just from spending some time. And if you get here, you need to have plenty of time to really see and grasp what's pictured here. You've got so much for us to absorb and to think about and to carry away with us and share with other people. And we have come a long way.
You've come a long way.
We haven't arrived yet.
We haven't arrived.
So anyone who gets the opportunity, I'd like to hear and see that they've either been here or they're getting ready to come here. Because it's so historical. It tells us a story that some of us would never think about. And the trials and tribulations we've come through to get here. And then when we learn, we need to pass it on. But you need to come see first.
Come see first. Let's go a little bit down to your incredible, distinguished legacy. You broke barriers as the first African-American classroom teacher, elected president of the Tennessee Education Association. What was that moment like? And what did it mean for teachers of color across the Deep South?
You know, I'd like to think about the threes. We had at least 2 Black persons to serve as president of TEA. But at that time, it was, you had to be in administration, which meant, you know, your brains had spread a little wider and you had more to offer and you could be believed. And because you were not one of those, you never got to be in a position what would be called higher education. And I was the first classroom teacher, Black classroom teacher, Negro classroom teacher, to become president. And I served the longest term. And it wasn't, and I don't know if I need to tell this, but when I was president, I had been the vice president. And the vice president died, and I became president. And I went on to become president of TEA. And by that time, I had left, that was WTA, the West Tennessee, that happened first. And it happened the second time when I went to TEA, Tennessee Education Association. I was vice president, and the president died, and I got to be the president. And so somebody once told me, said, I don't never want to be the president where you the vice president, because you. But it was and when I was president of TEA, I served the longest term, because I had to serve that term out, and then I was elected for, that was 2 years, and then I was elected 2 more times as president.
Did you face any backlash?
Oh my goodness. The first time that I served as president, they lost a lot of members, white members. And then the second time we campaigned, and we got a lot of support campaigning, and we got members back, the numbers came back up. But it was not an easy struggle, and we had to work real hard. And that's one of the things, you gotta form yourself a team when you're working. If you want to move, you don't have to do all the work, but you gotta be able to work with people who are gonna help get the job done, not for you, but for the cause you're working for. It's the cause. And with that kind of impact, and learning how to work with other folk and have people work with you, you can get a lot more done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When you were growing up during a period in Memphis, during the height of segregation, and there are court cases trying to keep black and white kids from being educated together, and the clause was with all deliberate speed. When did you realize that you wanted to go into the profession of education to help give African American children the right to free and basic education?
When did I come to that realization?
Yes, ma'am.
I guess I was kind of different. And I'm looking back, I'm thinking about a little boy at my church. I asked when he was in the 11th grade, he was getting ready to go to 12th grade, and I said, what do you want to be when you graduate? What are you going to do when you graduate? Where are you going? And he said, I don't know. What I'm thinking about, I remember even before I became a teacher, even before I went to school, I always wanted to be a teacher. And when I was playing, we'd be playing under the house, and we'd be playing school. If I couldn't be the teacher, I wouldn't play. So, and I had several teachers in my family on both my father's side, the Joneses, and on my mother's side. So it was, and at that time, there was not much women could do in a profession, would be a teacher. So it was something that I just sort of grew up with and wanted to be. And I'm glad that I have been. It's such a learning experience, and it's such an experience of personalities and children, and likes and dislikes, and being able to work with people who have handicaps and all kinds. It's just a good life to get to know us as a people, and to learn how to live with people with differences. And it's that we're all alike, but we're also different, and it's a difference that makes us so special. So and let me tell you, I guess another thing, if I couldn't be the teacher, I didn't play. But I found out I was an only child, and I found that I needed other kids. I always grew up with a lot of cousins, and I just loved playing teacher. And they would let me be the teacher so we could play. Yeah.
Those early impressions really can make a path for producing positive social change. And by you being the longest tenured, looks like you made the best decision possible. So
I think teaching was for me. I think it was. But you got to love children.
Sure. Right. Yeah, they're the gateway to our future.
And you got to love yourself too. Because if you don't know how to love yourself, you're not going to learn how to love anybody else. Yeah, so.
You received the Unsung Hero Award from President Barack Obama, a powerful acknowledgement. What did that recognition mean to you personally?
The highest recognition in my life. And I have to give Steve Cohen credit for that. Because when I went to the White House during that February when we have Black History Month, and he had asked, I don't know whoever, but much of his cabinet, he had asked for Black History Month, that he wanted to make a salute to black teachers. And he had asked for a representative from the various, my throat is getting on me. He had asked for a black teacher from the various communities in all of our states, and had asked for congressmen from those states to recommend somebody to come to this conference and he wanted to show recognition to black teachers. And Steve Cohen recommended me, but I had worked with Steve Cohen in when he first began to run in the local, what we call city council, district, and whatever. So I had sort of grown up with him in the Democratic Party. And I started working in the Democratic Party very early. Yeah, so that's how I got to Washington with Obama. You know, that was really the best thing. He was such a pleasant young man. And he was so down to earth. You just felt when you looked at him and the way he smiled at you, that I love you, you love me, we are one. And the fact that he was black, you know, and they wanted to put him coming from everywhere but where he came from. But his whole personality, his persona, just drew you in. And he got the right mate. His wife was just as sweet, and they were just down to earth, and they were just one of us.
So you were part of integrating predominantly white college campuses through your sorority, AKA chartering in the late 1960s. What advice would you give young women who are the first in their spaces today?
Don't be afraid. If you feel a calling, take advantage of it. You can't be afraid, and you kind of want to do what it is you're trying to do. And if you have confidence in yourself that you really want to do this and that there's a need for you to do it, the Lord's going to lead you in the right direction. You're going to do it. But you got to have faith in yourself first. I can, I will. And you're going to always have a following. It may be slow, but you're going to have a right, and be sure it's the right thing. And think first before you act. Believe in yourself before you act. And don't be afraid to act. There's always going to be somebody who's going to follow you.
We were talking a little bit ago about these extraordinary women in our past who were also educators, such as Ida B. Wells, Mary Church Terrell, Mary McLeod Bethune, native Memphian Maxine Smith, now Dr. Velma Lois Jones. How does it feel to be included in such a distinguished group of brilliant women who used education as a way to build African Americans and bring African Americans out of discriminatory practices and unfair policies?
You know, I don't think I could ever equal up to any of those women, but they were my role models. And especially Maxine Smith, having worked with her in the NAACP. When I was president of the Memphis Branch, she was the executive director. And I admired her so much because she had a way of saying what she needed to say without being angry. And it almost made a joke out of it sometimes. And you had to really think about what she had said or what she had done to really realize she was making a difference. And they were listening. And she wasn't afraid. She was truly a great role model for a whole lot of us and all of the other women you mentioned. But just because I had a chance to work with her during her time here on earth, and I will forever thank her for the guide and for the concern and for the leadership that she gave and the role model for other women to follow too. And the other thing was she had a supportive husband.
Dr. Vasco Smith.
Yeah, yeah, and they were really a team. And because they were, and if you got support on your side, it makes you work a little harder because you know you got somebody there by your side to help you move and make things happen. So, yeah, she was my role model.
I would say that you are in the same conversation as them for being the longest tenured first classroom teacher turned president for not only MEA, but for TEA. So thank you for all of your contribution to this community and to children across the country that have been able to be impacted and influenced by your legacy. I wanted to ask one last question, more of a contemporary. You broke barriers. So let me start that over. Let me start that one over. In your long career, you've watched education evolve, and in some ways it has regressed, especially as debates over teaching history have intensified. How do we protect the truth in the education classroom today?
You know what, education is changing so, and I think it changes whoever is at the top in leadership. But we're going to have to help our people to understand and to stand firm on what is the truth. History cannot be denied. It happened. Whether we wanted it to happen or not, it may be positive, it may be negative, but it is still history and it is the truth. And we've got to get it out. Let's face the truth and learn from it. What can we do to make a difference that this doesn't continue to happen, that what happened is in the past, but it is something happened to make us see that there is a better way for all of us, not just for some of us. But it's a personal thing. It all starts in the head. You've got to want to make a difference and not deny. Yes, it happened, but what can we do to make a difference and to make the world better for all of us, not just for some of us? So it's a personal thing, and it's a mind changer. Sure. And I think those are weak people who are denying that it is what it is and do not want to. That's a personal thing, and it's really important because of relationships. And this person is so defensive because of some things happened in his or her life to make you not want to honor people who are just like you, except for color. And we got to understand, and I'll say it over and over again, we're all different, but we're all alike. And we all come from a supreme being. And we're all trying to make it better for ourselves, first of all, and then for those around us, those that we serve. Again, it's a personal thing, and you've got to have the feeling and the thinking. We are all God's children.
Amen to that. Teaching truth, leading change, building legacy. Dr. Velma Lois Jones, thank you so much and congratulations on your award of receiving the Freedom Award from the National Civil Rights Museum.
Well, thank you.
You've been watching another episode of Imagine in America podcast. Follow us on imagineinamerica.org and stay connected with the National Civil Rights Museum at www.civilrightsmuseum.org. Thank you.
Today's episode is brought to you by the National Civil Rights Museum, located at the Lorraine Motel, the assassination site of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It chronicles key episodes of the American Civil Rights Movement, examines today's global civil and human rights issues, provokes thoughtful debate, and serves as a catalyst for positive social change.